Back in the locker room, Tunch and Wolf, and still with us from the Pittsburgh Sports Report, Tony Defazio.
Amazingly.
Well, you're amazed when you're still here, right? Because I'm still here, too.
It's magic.
That's right. Anyways, Tony Defazio, and we're shifting our gaze towards WPIAL playoffs football. And I know that our producer, Steve Wayhart, is very excited. He's over there waving his pennant because Bishop Canavan is still alive.
Big win last week.
So what do you think about Single A?
You know, Single A all season's really been dominated by Rochester and Clairton, and it looks like those are going to be the two teams to beat. I think you're going to end up seeing a 1 versus 2 in that bracket. Rochester's got a heck of a player in Derek Moy. He's a running back, a receiver, 6'5", blistering speed. Runs about a 4.4 or so. And started the season as a talented player who was an athletic kid and has really worked hard and made himself into one of the top prospects in the state. And then Clairton on the other side, they rolled up 520 yards of offense last week. They just throw running back after running back after running back at you. So those are going to be the teams that I think are probably going to plow their way through. And Rochester's no stranger to playing in the Class A championship game. They've been a runner-up the past couple of years.
Well, just like in Highlander, there can only be one. Who's going to be the one?
There you go, exactly. So it's going to come down to, I think, the two most talented teams there, and to me, that's Rochester and Clairton.
Natalie, my daughter Natalie's team just lost to Moon in the state playoffs in women's soccer, and everyone that was at that game, and it was at North Hill Stadium, came up to me and goes, Tunch, you should see what Wolf ate when he did the Moon football game. 20 people came up to me, Tony, and they're going, not this is what we think are going to happen today.
Press box that was loaded
I'm
down.
telling you what, it was hilarious. Everyone's coming up to me, Tunch, how are you? You should see what Wolf ate when he did the Moon game.
It's the stuff of legend from what
you are now the
clean the cashews right out. They didn't even make it to what?
I was thinking about
keep your hands inside the boat at all times. I guess. Right?
Always
when he's around.
Always keep your hands in the boat. Double A, Aliquippa. They always have athletes.
Yeah, they always have athletes. In fact, their game this week is going to be a fantastic game as far as athletes go. They play Jeanette. Jeanette's an interesting team in Double A. They came in as the 9 seed last week of the season. They shocked Greensburg Central Catholic, who it looked like Central was going to waltz undefeated into this tournament, but shocked them, shut down that offense. That's a powerful offense. A lot of Division I guys scored 2 points in that game. They beat them 7-2, so they completely shut down the offense. Jeanette did. Jeanette with a big win last week. So Jeanette Aliquippa this week. And the interesting thing about that game is probably 2 of the best players on the field may not even be football players in college. Terrell Pryor is a heck of a basketball player for Jeanette, and Jonathan Baldwin, a heck of a basketball player for Aliquippa. So a lot of athletes in that game. That's a number 1 seed versus a number 9 seed. So that should be a pretty interesting game.
So they're that good.
So you really think he's that good?
Huh?
Hey, what can you say?
You were talking about the number of the 2 great athletes that will probably be basketball players. What other athletes in Double A are going to go to schools that we might be interested in when they're done playing high school football?
Well, there's a couple of good players for Aliquippa. They always have, a lot of talent there. Brandon Lindsay plays, he's a running back, plays some linebacker, also plays on the defensive line. They really move him around. Ohio State and Pitt are the 2 teams really, giving him the most attention right now. Boston College also has been a team that's sort of been creeping up for him. Greensburg Central Catholic, we've talked about some of these guys. They're loaded. They got 3 Division I guys, 2 of them going to Wolf's alma mater, going to Syracuse.
Smart young man. Oh, please.
Yeah.
That's just wrong.
Yeah.
And then another kid from Double A from Greensburg Central, Nick Suke, who's going to probably play defensive back at Penn State next year. So a lot of athletes there. One kid to watch at the Double A level, Seton LaSalle quarterback Matt Rogers.
Oh, he's good.
Very good. He
did the game on FSN. His first game back after that calf injury.
Right.
Looked like he hadn't even missed a week.
Well, that's the thing. They struggled a little bit when he was out, so they sort of snuck in as the number 5 seed. They're a better football team than a 5 seed. So now that they have a healthy Matt Rogers at quarterback, they're going to be a team to watch. They have a tough matchup with Brentwood this week, which should be pretty exciting. But Rogers is going to play at Akron next year.
All the Seton fans were going, Tunch, you see what Wolf ate here when he came here?
That's going over at Hannes Wagner Field, huh?
Triple A, TJ.
The Haluski there was very good.
Triple A.
You said it all right there.
TJ. Now, Dom DeSico, is he healthy yet?
He's not 100%, but he's a tough kid. And, they have a couple of guys in addition to Dom DeSico. Chris Drager's a tight end, defensive end. He's going to be playing for Virginia Tech. And they have a heck of a running back, Dan Gigerich. So that Bill Chirpak always has a talented team, and they're also out for blood this year. They got upset last year in the playoffs by eventual champion Franklin Regional. So if both of those teams win this week, they're gonna meet up again next week. And that's going to be, again, that's a match that TJ is definitely drooling over. They're trying to tell you they're not looking ahead, but they can't wait to get their teeth into Franklin if it works out that way.
I saw Bill Chirpek and TJ at Elizabeth Ford with our buddy Pete Rostowski. Wow. I mean,
yeah, he ran up the score a bit there.
Chirp doesn't slow the offense.
You know what? I would slow him down.
Oh, yeah, what are you going to do, roll up his legs?
No, I'd say slow it down. I mean, if I was, yeah.
You know, that was a tough night, man. I remember because
you gave the pregame speech.
Oh, I know. That
great speech.
What
next?
Yeah, what next? Never mind. Let's move on.
Hey, anybody that needs a great motivating pregame speech for your high school,
contact me at.
You can get Wolf at Speeches Are Us. Get your team fired up and ready to play. How about Fine Richland?
That's just so unfair.
Another good team to watch, yeah, no doubt. Fine Richland, good quarterback. Spencer Whipple, his dad, of course, Mark Whipple,
right.
the
Steelers
coach.
Yeah.
And they have a great offense. Pine Richland always has a great football team every year. Pine Richland also has a heck of a kicker, probably the best kicker in the state this year. So when you get into these tight games and you get into the playoffs and you keep advancing on, the competition gets tougher and tougher. Those guys can win you some games, and he can certainly do that. I think he's that good, exactly.
Okay.
I think he is that
good. Now, Quad A, is this as murky as you've seen it, Tony? I mean, I know you've been covering Western Pennsylvania high school football for a long time. Is it me, or is this as murky as you've seen it for a while?
It's anybody can beat anybody right now, and they have done that all season. They've just been beating each other up. The one team no one talks about, but the only team to stay above the fray that hasn't lost is Upper St. Clair.
Yeah.
You know, they do it with just solid football every way around. I guess they don't maybe have those stars that jump off the field to you, but boy, oh boy, do they win. They're the only undefeated team, and they've got North Hills this week, so that's going to be a tough challenge for them.
Do you think it's because of because they play that half of the section? Is that part of it, or
yeah,
I
think it
let's
probably
face
is.
it,
They haven't played some of those
they're not going to. They haven't played Woody High. They haven't played Gateway, Central.
Yeah,
I mean that.
It certainly looks like that the Centrals, you mentioned Woody High, Penn Hills, those are the teams that have really been beating each other up this year, and you're right, Upper St. Clair hasn't had to deal with those guys yet. They will. I mean, the cream's going to rise to the top. They have to play each other. That's why you play the games, and that's what's so great, college football, about a playoff system.
Right.
You have to play everybody. So,
right.
But yeah, to me, the interesting thing about Quad A is, are any of these teams going to be able to go deep into the state playoffs? Parkland is a school out near Allentown that's a dominant team this year. Harrisburg is dominant. Are any of these WPIAL teams good enough to advance deep into the states? Maybe by playing each other, that makes them even better and gives them a better chance once they get to the state.
Has Central shown more vulnerabilities than they expected?
Yeah, I think they probably have. I think they were a team that was expected to really come in and just blow through everybody, and that's awful tough to do. When you have the athletes that Penn Hills has, and Gateway and Woodland Hills and so forth. So, but yeah, I think they have shown a little bit of vulnerability. Their running game hasn't been, I think, as dominant as they may have liked it to been. But also, they have a very good quarterback, and I think they've made a conscious decision to pull back on the run and try to throw the ball a little bit more. So,
how has Tino Sinceri been playing? Is it taking him a while to get comfortable, or has he been consistent throughout the year?
No, I think it took him it really didn't take him that long. I think it maybe took him a couple of games, but he's really blended with that offense. He's got a lot of good players around him, obviously. And again, Tino's only a junior. And at Central, to start as a junior is not a very common thing because that is such a talented team. So usually you have seniors who have already paid their dues. So he's sort of, he had that to overcome too. He was a new kid coming in,
right,
starting as a junior, displacing some people who were expecting to start. So he's had to deal with that. But, again, they're very well coached and they've been good every year, just a lot of good athletes. So, yeah, they are a little bit more vulnerable, I suppose, because they have been beaten. So teams do know, what you need to do to beat that team. But when you have that much talent, you might know what you have to do to beat them. Doing it's a whole other thing.
Has Wizards boy made any decision yet?
No. Steph Wisniewski, no. He's still it just got a little bit more interesting because the North Carolina staff will be fired at the end of the season, and that was one of his finalists. And so, I don't know what that does, but what
was North Carolina finalist with you? Was that one of your choices?
Oh yeah. Go ahead. Take the knife out of my back. I had two choices: Indiana State or Eastern Illinois, sort of. Well, they were kind of. They offered me a scholarship. But Indiana State. They said we'd like to have
here, don't you think, Tony?
If we'd have gone to Eastern Illinois, we couldn't even have this much fun making fun of Indiana State, right?
Illinois, right? And Illinois State actually when I was coming home from Eastern Illinois, told me to stop by. So I did the big loop. I went from Terre Haute to Charleston, Illinois, to Bloomington Normal,
Are they
Illinois.
the Halushkis or whatever?
The Salukis. Not the
Oh, okay.
Halushkis.
That's
It's always
close
about
enough.
the food. Always about the food. Before we let you go, prediction, Quad A.
I like Woodland Hills. I think they're the most talented team. If they can play together as a team, then I think they're the most talented team out there. So I'm going to go with Woody High.
All right, there you heard it from Tony Defazio from the Pittsburgh Sports Report. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right here in the locker room.